Article 1 to 4 deals with states, union and the states. Part 2, citizenship, Article 5 to 11. Part 3, Article 12 to 35, fundamental rights. Article 12 to 35, fundamental rights. Part 4, Article 36 to 51, directive principles of state policy. Yesterday we have seen at length that fundamental rights are enforceable, justiciable, because you should see during framing of the constitution. This is one, and another one is part 4A, Article 51A, fundamental duties, which has been added to the constitution in 1976. Okay, we need to, and these are very, very important. And apart from that, as we discussed, preamble. What is the relation between preamble? If you see whatever has been enshrined in the preamble, these concepts have been like in the form of rights, in the form of principles, everything has been given here. During framing of the constitution, they might have thought like whether part T is enforceable, whether part 4 directive principle, should we make it enforceable or not? And if you make this, and this is very, very important for the social welfare. Directive principles are what purpose? Yesterday, that we are going to see today also. Yesterday I have seen you one master slide for the directive principles. You might have seen Article 36 to 51. What purpose? For welfare state, for not the police state. Right to education, right to work, like so many are there, international peace and security, for the welfare of the people. Okay. So we have given so many like that, but that is a welfare state. What is the ultimate political objective? Welfare of the people only. But for welfare of the people, again to implement these, who are restricting you? Might be few parts of the fundamental rights. Few parts of the fundamental rights are restricting you, like right to property. What is right to property? Basically like we bought some plot, land or something somewhere with our savings, for example. Just now, initially it used to be so many Jamindar land reforms and everything, but thereafter, for example, outer ring road, thereafter one regional ring road, you bought some land there. Then now government says, no, as part of the people welfare, you please give your land to us. Before that it is fundamental right. So government can't take it. That's why they made it as a legal right. It might be a, so that's why at that time, whether to that aggrieved person, whether market rate should be given, so many judgments have been taken place, or government rate should be given, whatever. Okay, we will see. So now in this we are dealing with part 4 DPSP, Article 37. We took it from Irish constitution in, basically that constitution in 1937, and they took it from Spanish. And DPSP and plus fundamental rights, these both together philosophy or soul of the constitution. In fact, these two, fundamental and DPSP, they are trying to implement what has been given in the preamble. Okay. So what Mr. Granville Hastings has here told, conscience or conscience means good or bad, Atma Sakshi, you need to see. So it's just like for the constitution, it is just like a conscience of the constitution. Any doubts so far? Understood? Okay. Now we'll go in these parts, DPSP, futures, classification, like 3 types, Gandhian principles, socialist principles, liberal principles, intellectual principles, like that. And new DPSPs have been added. Why? Several amendment acts like 42, 44, like that. Obviously criticism. And what is the utility of the DPSP? What is the utility of the DPSP? And is there any conflict? Obviously, if you want to implement DPSP, there will be a conflict with your own rights in terms of right to equality. If you want to implement, for example, to give some reservations, then there will not be an equality. It will be conflict with the fundamental rights. okay, right to property, so many. So in general, if you want to implement for the general welfare, some individual has to be, some issues might be there to that respective individual. So during that conflict, initially there used to be a conflict between legislature versus judiciary, because judiciary is the custodian of the constitution and as per article 32 guarantor of the fundamental rights. So if legislature in the name of DPSP trying to encroach fundamental rights, then as a guarantee of the fundamental rights, it need to protect them for the individual. So if you are taking out the fundamental right, then how can you say it is a welfare state? Fundamental rights are for your freedom rights, okay. So if you are, for the purpose of the, like you are saying that I am giving you a welfare state, and if you are taking the fundamental rights itself, is it a welfare? So they are contradictory each other. So we will see whether they are contradictory each other or complementary to each other or supplementary to each other, that we will see, okay. Thereafter fundamental rights versus DPSP, and for implementing directive principles, so many laws have been enacted by the government of India and even the respective government of states also. So I will just give, I have given the list of those acts for reference purpose, okay. And what are the directives are there outside the part 4? Directives, directive principles of state policy, the directives for the state, whether central government or state government, to follow them for the establishment of welfare state but not police state, okay. And different articles. Just before going to, just have a glance of fundamental rights before going to DPSP, because sometimes you keep on coming here, have a glance. Yesterday only we have completed this. So article 12, article 13, just have a glance. Yeah. So just before going to DPSP, fundamental rights under which part? Part 3 of the Constitution, article 12 to 35. Article 12 and 13, state definition and laws inconsistent with the fundamental rights are, please make note of this article 30, it will keep on coming later on also. Why? Yesterday I told you, here it has been told, laws inconsistent with the fundamental right are ultra-wide or wide. If they are inconsistent with fundamental right, they are wide. So thereafter a few issues have come. What do you mean by this law? Whether amendment carried out by the constitution, because here law means it might be an ordinary law, whereas amendment is a constituent law. So thereafter few interpretations have been taken. It's a, here law means an ordinary law, not a constituent law. So whatever I am doing under article 368, it will not restrict me. This article will not restrict me, so I can violate fundamental rights. So that few interpretations have come from the legislature side also. Then judiciary has given few judgments that we will see in latter part of that one when we will discuss about fundamental right versus DPSP. Actually no need, we should not say versus. Why? They are complementary each other, okay, because the aim of the directive principles of state policy itself is to establish a welfare state. For establishing welfare, they are complementing your fundamental rights. You should not see they are encroaching your fundamental rights. But since we are in new constitution after independent India, initial few decades, it took time to come out that crux. Actually what is the purpose of DPSP, what is the purpose of fundamental rights. During that time so many people have criticized also, saying if DPSP is not justiciable, then what is the purpose of mentioning it? What is the purpose of mentioning it in the constitution itself? But constitutional who frame the constitution, they very well know that they will be criticized like this. But still what they want to say is, because we are having several constraints due to lack of resources, vast diversity and even mindset, because of that we are unable to make it justiciable. But in future next generation, pass on generation to generation. At least we want to tell them, if they want to implement some good factor, good issues, then these are the few you should implement it. That is why we have incorporated in the part 4 of the constitution as non-justiciable futures. Understood? Okay. This I taught you yesterday, but just before going to DPSP, let us make a quick revision of fundamental rights before going to DPSP. Okay. So, article 12 and 13 is like this. Please remember is article 13. Okay. This is a state definition. I told you this article 12 state definition is same to article 36 state definition of the DPSP. In article 30 they have just given, they told just to avoid any confusion, saying that in article 36 whatever the definition of the state given in article 12, it will be applicable here also. Okay. So, article 14 to 18, right to equality. I am just article 14, equality before law. Article 15, discrimination. Article 16, of equal opportunities in public employment. 17, no untouchability. 18, no titles. These are equality rights. Okay, 19 to 22. Among them, main article 19 is a freedom rights. If you see in DPSP, we will see, you should remember this. Article 13, Article 14, Article 19, Article 21, mainly Article 14 and 19, they keep on saying, if I implement few directive principles of state policy or all of the, even if you contravene Article 14 and 19, then they are not void, they are not violating the constitution. Like that so many amendments have come. So please remember Article 14 is equality before law and equal protection of the law. Equality before law means, as I told yesterday, it just nobody is above a rule of law. Okay, nobody is above a rule of law. And Article 19 is the freedom rights. 6 freedom rights. What are those? Freedom of speech and expression, assemble, association, movement, reside, and profession. Previously it used to be, right to property used to be one of the fundamental right. Now it has been removed and they have made it legal right. Why? During 1950s, because even we integrated so many princely states. While integration, what princely states, even Jamindars, Jagirdars, so many people, one second. Okay. They used to have huge assets of lands. So there will be a lot of inequality. One used to have 1000 acres of land, the other person used to have 1 acre, and third person will not having any land at all. So we need to distribute the lands. So that's why they brought a ceiling limit, which differs from state to state, somewhere around 30 acres. Okay, somewhere around 30 acres from which differs from state to state. Anything, ma'am? AC on करना है क्या कर लो, बंद करना है. Okay. Which differs from ceiling limit. That's why they want to distribute the land. Then they approached the Supreme Court saying that is a fundamental right, you can't take them out. Then accordingly what Supreme Court has told, if you want to take them out, first you need to, you can remove it for the purpose of DPS. At that time you can remove it. So accordingly amendment has come, that we will see later on. Okay. And Article 21, please remember this one also. Corresponding this is Article 45 of DPSP. What Article 45 of DPSP has told? Initially during original constitution they are told within 10 years please implement all the measures for free and compulsory education till 14 years. From birth to 14 years. That is the original Article 45. Thereafter it has been amended in 2002 saying that 6 to. So here finally what happened? Right to education article 21A is 6 to 14 years compulsory, wherein new article 45 is less than 6 years, and one more thing they have added in fundamental duties 51A K, what they have done, same thing 6 to 14 years, the parents oblique guardian duty to educate their children between 6 to 14 years, that is what. You got the connection here? Article 21A of fundamental right, 6 to 14 years. Article 45, initially in old article 45, less than or equal to 14 years, but thereafter they strike it off, they replace it with, because when they made this fundamental right here in 2002, here they told till less than 6 years DPSP, directive principle. In future, because finally it will come, where it will culminate, it should be culminating finally, it is a free and compulsory education till, it may be till professional degree, but are we having that resources till now? We are not having. In few judgments also in Bombay they have told, in few judgments also they have told it is better that to go till professional degree, but because we are not having enough resources, we are restricting ourselves to 14 years, and within that also 6 to 14 only fundamental right, less than 6 as of now DPSP. Got the connection? Okay, good. Now, yesterday somebody like protection of against, it is excluding journey, 24 hours is excluding journey. Okay, just write it down in that respective chapter, otherwise you will forget, thereafter you will read like that only. I wrote it by mistake, including journey, that is excluding that 20, that means you need to, that accused person need to be produced before magistrate, yesterday's fundamental right, otherwise you can write it later, endorse it, that is excluding journey. Okay, article 22. Okay, now rights against exploitation, article 23, 24. Main thing is forced labor. This is very social evil. During that they have removed that, like prohibition of traffic in human beings and beggar, forced labor. Connecting to it is slavery, for example. So it's very big evil. From historical it keep on coming. Okay, you might have seen in Bahubali also, Kattappa, he is a permanent slave and a loyal slave. Okay, in article 24, prohibition of employment of children. Okay, and freedom of religions 25 to 28, cultural and educational rights 29 to 30, and article 31, compulsory acquisition of property repealed. Connecting to here is article 31A, 31B, 31C. If 31A is basically acquisition of estates, so saving of certain laws. What they have told is, if government is acquiring land from the citizens of India for the purpose of the welfare state, for the purpose of implementing DPSP, and because I am taking out your land, I am infringing upon a fundamental right initially, okay, then it is not the violation of fundamental right. That is what saving. Okay, related to that, which is a schedule, for saving of the acts where they have placed like this, not only property, any different acts where they have placed schedule 9. Okay, this one, validation of certain acts and regulations, giving effect to certain DPSP. 31C, please remember this also, 31C, article 31C. So you should remember article 13, article 14, article 19, okay. Article 31C, initially they told, article 31C, what they have told initially, that if I implement article 39B, 39C of DPSP, what are those? 39B is distribution of material resources to general public on entire C is prevention of concentration of wealth or accumulation of wealth, prevention of, so wealthy should not be like one person should not be having 100 crores and one person is only one, nothing is there, it should not be like that. Yes, capitalism is there, but at the same time glaring inequalities should not be that much. Okay, so if government is implementing to reduce the inequalities, among the people, then it can infringe upon fundamental rights. Infringe means while it can violate fundamental rights. That's what it has told initially. Thereafter, one more amendment has come saying that not only Article 39 BC, any DPSP future starting from 36 to 51, in fact 36, 37 are general, 38 to 50, any DP, if government is implementing any DPSP future, then while implementing those DPSP futures, if government is violating any fundamental right, that is not void, it can for the implementation of welfare state. Understood now? Initially in Article 31 they told only 39 B and C. Later on what they have told? It will be immune from any DPSP. Like if they implementing any DPSP, it will be immune. Okay? Understood? Any doubts? Good. 31D is with respect to that same thing, saving of laws. If government is making any law, with respect to anti-national activities, it has been repealed. Okay? Repealed means it has been removed. With respect to anti-national activities, then it is immune from any court. Then what court has told? No, then it's taking out our judicial review, which is independence of judiciary. You can't do that. Okay? Now, finally, Article 32, right to constitutional remedies, and thereafter 33, 34, 35, Parliament power to modify fundamental right with respect to forces, martial law, and few legislations to give effect to fundamental right provisions. This is fundamental right.